Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of October 18th, where this week is a full moon week. So if you are energetically sensitive, you may have already been feeling or experiencing these shifts, and definitely watch out for the spaces, places, and communities around you, because you can maybe even see other people starting to experience that light of the full moon pulling in. People just kind of get weird, or they get a little, they say everything happens when the full moons. The hospitals get busy, the bars get busy, the children get busy. So this is a full moon week. So if you're starting to feel that or see that around you, it is right on time. Now, keep in mind that while you're watching me here on YouTube, you can also just be listening to me on the podcast. The link is in the description box down below. And if you haven't gotten your Stormie Grace merchandise, your cup, your Astrology Soulmate cup, that is still for sale in the description box down below as well, because we're going to be kicking these eat and greets up into high gear, especially as we cross into the beginning of next year. So you want to make sure you have your little cup and we can sip together. All right, beautiful friends, let's talk about what's going on this week. So first of all, as we're coming into the week, we have seen Jupiter come out of retrograde, Mercury come out of retrograde, so we've got more forward motion. And those are not the only two. At the beginning of this month, we saw Pluto come out of retrograde. Just after that, we saw Saturn come out of retrograde. Then Jupiter. Now Mercury's out of retrograde. So we have got energies beginning to move forward. But you do want to pay attention as you're coming in Monday, Tuesday this week, that Jupiter and Mercury have just made their station. The stationing days are typically the most challenging, but we still need these planets to get going and back up to speed. So while you have full throttle to just go, make decisions, sign those contracts, anything you felt like you were holding back, your blessings may be pulling in with Jupiter out of retrograde, they're still not at the fastest speed. So you maybe, if you can give it just a couple days, maybe even wait to make those really big decisions till like Wednesday, Thursday, I think energetically you're in a better position. And if you happen to have Jupiter and Mercury retrograde in your chart, then the stationing days, and as they're picking up speed, are actually going to be your cue to go within. Go back in. You've seen all of these things out here while we were all turned within. You were actually pushed out into the world. So everybody needs to change direction, and you need to go back within and look over the information that you received and see how it actually sits with you, okay? But as we're also rolling into Monday, we're going to see now that Mars is in a trine to Jupiter. So not retrograde anymore, Jupiter. Now Mars and Jupiter come together, and it is the sweetness of motion, action, desire. Mars is in the energy of Libra, balance, relationships, business, trining, so creating a pocket of ease, with Jupiter, who's now direct in the energy of Aquarius. And as they get together, it's like action meets opportunity, right? Action, desire meets this beautiful energy of expansion. So whether it's giving a presentation, doing an interview, where you feel driven and you're ambitious and you want to succeed in a relationship, in anything that brings you balance, anything that has to do with being diplomatic, anything that has to do with driving forward. This is a wonderful, wonderful energy for that. So I told you just a minute ago, if you can hold off before just lobbing something out in the water, give it a couple days, that would be great. This is still great initiation energy. So if you can baby step something out there, or if you can put that toe in the water and say, okay, success, I'm coming, I see you, but I'm not jumping in fully today. It is a great day to initiate, so take that with you. And remember, Mercury has come direct as well, so truly you have this sense of motion and communication that's ready to move forward and grab that energy of action and success and pull it forward, okay? When we get to Tuesday, we're actually going to see Venus sitting in a quincunx or an inconjunct, depending on who you study with Uranus, who's retrograde. This is an interesting energy, and you would have seen it before August 28th. So I want you to think back to that time. And since you've been traveling along, since August until now, what have you seen about love, money, relationships, balance, what you perceive to be deeply important to you, that now it looked really good then, but it doesn't look as good now? You're having to reassess or you're having to be with it a little bit longer because now it doesn't look like it has the same value to it that it did before. That inconjunct can act as a little bit of anxiety, or it feels like an itchy tag. It's trying to get your attention because it's saying, yes, I want to move forward with this, but I don't quite understand how you're asking me to do that. Venus would have brought a high amount of optimism to the table. Oh, this could be great. This is going to be the best adventure ever. And Uranus in that quincunx is like, well, I mean, I see that you want to go on an adventure, but I'm not sure that that's the right adventure for us. So be mindful. Be mindful of opportunities that come your way. Just take a day. Just take a day, sit with it, be with it, watch it, evaluate if this is the right alignment for you. And then we're going to get to Wednesday and it's like, take all the drive, take all the reassessment and move the heck forward. When we get to Wednesday, we're going to see the full moon pulling in. Now this moon is at 27 degrees of Aries. Now we're getting an Aries full moon. The light in the sky is vast. The lights are on. We can see everything. We've got Mars in conjunction with the sun just across from this moon at this particular time. So there is drive. There is motion. But what can also come to the table at this particular full moon is there can be this sense of criticism. You feel like you are being criticized for maybe changing a direction or maybe pushing forward. Your job at this full moon is to be very Aries. Put your head down and go through it. The ram puts its head down and goes through it. We have to be bold with this energy. You have to be assertive with what is yours. What do you feel like really allows you to be you, and you are willing to warrior that energy forward. You are willing to be that sacred gardener who plants your seeds of intention to allow them to grow, and it doesn't get lost in the voice of the sun, the we, right? What I'm doing is built for me, my skills, my talent, my hustle, but it will add to the we. I'm happy to do this work and pay my taxes. I'm happy to have this opinion and still be a part of this family. All of these things come to the table, and you may find over this next 4 weeks as you're stepping out under new energy, reevaluated energy, you may be feeling criticism, and it may not just be criticism from people close to you. You may feel like you're receiving criticism from the world, and that's something I want you to pay a lot of attention to here. Now, Jupiter is going to be in a nice supportive aspect with Mars, and they've just had this trine that we talked about. So I do feel like this brings a little bit of help to the table. If nothing else, it'll help you, I think, at this particular moon, since Mars is the ruling planet of this moon. I think it will help you to understand that your drive for what you feel passionate about doing, that is yours, provided it is honest and it is in alignment, will help you understand why you need to take those actions. And it will help give you that little kiss of wind to push your success boat down the road as well. But you've got to take the right kind of stand for what is you, what is yours, and what you are willing to warrior and soldier on moving forward. Mercury is direct at this particular moon, so you definitely have the help of communication, forward, spot on thinking as well, okay? Now remember, you're going to feel the kiss of this full moon energy for about 4 weeks. And if we think back to the beginning of the year, what was happening for you in the Aries points and houses in your chart, look at that. And if you don't have a chart, please either go to astro.com or order one from me so that you know where we're talking about in your specific chart, because this area has already been plucked on. Now you just need to get in there and fight a little bit for it and warrior that thing out, okay? Now, as we get to the 21st, we're going to see that same Mars energy, who is all loved and supported by Jupiter over here, come into a square with Pluto, who's in Capricorn. Now, when Mars and Pluto square, we've got, this is going to be a cardinal square, okay? So starting or initiating energy are squaring against each other. And a cardinal square of Mars and Pluto, this is drive. Mars and Pluto are driven, right? That square is telling you, you got to take action, you got to do something, because it's putting you under tension. So this could even be an energy where you're so driven that you're driven to, maybe you're looking at what other people have and you're like, oh, I really want what they have. This can be a drive that gets you as that action energy of Mars is burning and that Pluto energy that has changed and come out of retrograde. And you're like, why is it so easy for everybody else to just move on with this? I want this good stuff in my life. I want to make this money. I want to have these relationships. I want to open my practice. Why do I feel like I'm watching everybody else do it and it's really easy for them and it's not easy for me? So it can even make you driven in that obsessive way. But instead of going down the envy or the jealousy road, which we have to, we're humans, you have to touch on it so that you know that emotion. If you feel like you're envious, if you feel like you're jealous, if you feel like you're super excited and proud for somebody, get into it. Go see what that person, place, or thing is doing so that you can learn to do that as well, because everything is just not as good as it looks. I also want you to really keep that in mind, that everything is not always as good as it looks. Half of these people on Instagram are not really they've loaned those clothes out. Okay? So what is it for you though that is catching your drive and catching your attention this day? Where are your talents that you can take that are honest and rich and real, and you move those out into the world that allow you to achieve what you believe somebody else's fortune may be? And we do get caught up in that sometimes, but just keep in mind that this square with Mars and Pluto is driven, and it's going to ask you to start something, but it may hit you from the core up that gives you this feeling that you need to drive towards, okay? As we get to the 22nd, we're going to say happy birthday, Scorpios, because the sun enters into the energy of Scorpio on this day. So happy birthday, Scorpios. As the sun brings this light, heat, life, and motivation to this particular area, we want to dig. So isn't that nice that you just had a little bit of energy square up against you yesterday and like hit you in your core? And now this sun in Scorpio is willing to dig, willing to be vulnerable, willing to do the work, willing to find out about that passive income, willing to do that healing, willing to take that astrology class, whatever it's doing for you in this scorpionic energy, that at the end of this season will allow you to be transformed. On Sunday, as we're closing out this week, we're going to see that Mercury is in an inconjunct or a quincunx with Uranus as well. Uranus is getting very busy this week. Now, as Mercury and Uranus come into quincunx with one another, this is again this itchy tag kind of energy where it can feel like not quite sure about that level of information, and what you're likely reassessing under this particular transit is you're looking at, does the information I have, is it solid? And this is a great question from content creators to family members. Is what's coming out of my mouth valuable to the person or people that I need to receive it? What is the value? What is my why? Why am I doing this? Why am I saying this? And you can begin to align those particular energies, especially any place that has to do with your relationships. So I want you to think about that stuff this week, and please let me know in the comment section down below how these things are manifesting for you, and really get into it. Get into it this week, right? Like, what is hitting you in your core this week? Whether it's a fear, whether it's excitement, whether it's drive, what is hitting you? And then how are these energies showing up, and you're getting into the mix of them to see how you can use them to your greatest good. All right, my beautiful friends, I love you a ton. I look forward to seeing you next week. And there are a lot of speaking opportunities, learning opportunities, engagements going on, and you'll be seeing them posted here on Instagram, on Facebook, on everywhere. And I look forward to inviting you to hear these different speakers and talks at all of these different events. And hopefully also you are still enjoying the YouTube Academy. I cannot believe it. We have about 14 classes left before year one is over. It is insane. We have done a lot of content around here. So I hope you have been watching, getting into it. And if you didn't have a chance this year, remember, we're going to kickstart to try and keep up year one so that you have a chance even next year to go back, to get into it, and to do all of the learning. Plus, we'll advance the content for next year as well. All right, my beautiful friends, like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I love you a ton, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, everyone.